Good morning. The September 22nd, 2021 meeting of Haliburton County Council is now in session. Warden Liz Danielson presiding.
Good morning, everyone. No opening remarks this morning, so if I could ask Mr. Rutter to take a roll call, please.
Warden Danielson.
I'm here.
Councillor Moffat.
Present.
Councillor Roberts.
Here.
Councillor McKechnie.
Here.
Councillor Burton.
Here.
Councillor Ryle.
Present.
Councillor DeVolen.
Here.
And Councillor Schell.
Present.
Thank you.
Just a note on the roll call. I'm pleased to be able to say that Councillor Kennedy will be returning to us the next meeting. And I'd like to thank Councillor McKechnie for stepping into the fray during Pat's absence. Thanks very much, Walt.
Thank you, everybody on your county council, and Mike and all the staff. They've been a great help to me, and I have enjoyed it. But believe me, I am so darn happy that Pat is back. We need him in our own municipality, but I think he's a great asset to our whole community. And so, and of course, his health is number one. But he's ready to go, so be ready.
Could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda for today, please? Councillor DeVolen, Councillor Schell.
Moved by Councillor DeVolen, seconded by Councillor Schell. Be it resolved that the September 22nd, 2021 Haliburton County Council agenda be approved.
All in favor? That's carried. Is there any notice of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof today? Hearing none, could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes of August the 25th? Councillor McKechnie, Councillor Burton.
Moved by Councillor McKechnie, seconded by Councillor Burton. Be it resolved that the minutes from the August 25th, 2021 meeting of Haliburton County Council be adopted as circulated.
All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. No business arising from the previous minute and no delegations. So we'll move on to approval of reports and recommendations from our Committee of the Whole meeting. Are there any questions on the recommendations? Could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt them? Councillor Roberts, Councillor Ryle, thank you.
Moved by Councillor Roberts, seconded by Councillor Ryle. Be it resolved that the recommendations from the September 8th, 2021 meeting of Haliburton County Committee of the Whole be adopted by Haliburton County Council.
All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Nothing under joint accessibility. So we'll move right into planning and some official plan amendments for the Township of Minden Hills. Good morning, Mr. Stone.
Okay. Good morning, Madam Warden and rest of council. Thank you for letting me be here with you. From a planning department update, I just want to give council a heads up that reports of submarines in the river are accurate. We have awarded a contract for sonar mapping of reaches of the Gull River. And so in Minden, this week, the contractor is out working, and one of the reporters took an interest in his activity. And the second phase of our sonar contract hopefully be awarded later this week. So what it's involved is the bathymetry aspect, and it's in water, so they're actually mapping the contours of certain stretches of the Gull River so that can improve the modeling for flood forecasting. So that's the only update I have for planning today.
Thank you. Any questions on that, Councillor DeVolen?
Yes, obviously since 13 and we had a little water and a couple times since, any of the engineering and people that I've dealt with, specialists in the field, obviously the replacement of the infrastructures, the dams above us, and most importantly, the one that was at Kanice, and certainly the ones that are below us are a huge factor in flood mitigation and control. But the other part of it is that as an avid boater of that river of probably 45 years of boating on it, what has got deposited there has a significant impact. And this is the next big piece of the puzzle to manage water through the Gull and principally the town of Minden. And anyways, this is wonderful news and will go a long way. And there's been a lot of assertions that have been made about the technicalities that need to happen. And I'm confident that this channel mapping is going to prove what we have contended all along. So thank you very much for your help in these efforts.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions on that? Okay, if we could move on to official plan amendment number 14.
Yes, Madam Mayor, the rest of council, I'm quite excited to bring to you this local official plan amendment that the Council of Minden Hills approved back in June. And it was well vetted. It will bring about 36 affordable housing units on Highway 35. All the issues were dealt with at the local level, and it has been adopted. And so the next step in the process is for County Council to approve the efforts of the local Township Council, and the recommendation is to approve as submitted to the county.
Do any members of council have questions or comments about this particular application? Hearing none, could I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor DeVolen, Councillor Shell.
Moved by Councillor DeVolen, seconded by Councillor Shell. Be it resolved that the September 22nd, 2021 County Planning Report on Amendment number 14 to the Township of Minden Hills official plan be received by Haliburton County Council, and that Haliburton County Council approves Amendment number 14 to the Township of Minden Hills official plan that was adopted by the Council for the Township of Minden Hills on June 24th, 2021, under bylaw number 21-65.
All in favor? That's carried, and we really look forward to seeing that development. It's much needed. Okay, I'm sorry, did you have a question, Councillor Roberts?
I did, if I could, through you, Madam Warden, just to Councillor DeVolen with this project. What's sort of the next timeline after this, if I may ask that, to know when construction and things will actually get going? What's the next steps?
There's actually a meeting this afternoon. What I would say is this, the MTO's influence on the evolution of this project isn't even finished yet. So that, I mean, in the perfect world, when we started this, the intention was to be in the ground as we speak. Now, I would say the next logical, if we can do it by next spring. But anytime you're doing any project on the side of a provincial highway, I guess my cautionary note to everybody is that's a 2-year exercise in its own right without any complications. And if there's complications, it can be longer than that. So I'll wish for the best, that they can continue to move forward, and certainly that by the spring, some things can actually start to happen on the site. But having been through one that's almost across the road with the Propay, the HP Supercenter, I think we were 4.5 or 5 years doing the dance with the MTO on that one. So I wouldn't bet either way. I'm optimistic, but I'm also cautious.
Any other questions? Okay, on to official plan amendment number 15.
Thank you, Madam Warden and the rest of council. This is a very unique one insofar as it's site-specific, one lot. It happens to have 2 family cottages on it, and a special policy within the local official plan that states that. And the family is now trying to deal with matters of inheritance. They want to divest themselves of their family cottage to the younger ones in the family. And in order to do that, they would have to sever the lot. Before they can do that, they need to change the special policy that's on this property that says you can have 2 cottages on one lot. So again, the matter was vetted through the Township Council. There was no issues identified with the public, and ultimately Council adopted this amendment and forwarded on to the county for final approval. And that's what's being asked of County Council today. Thank you.
Are there any questions on this application or request? Hearing none, could I have a mover and a seconder for the resolution, please? Councillor Moffat and Councillor Roberts. Thank you.
Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Roberts, be it resolved that the September 22nd, 2021 County Planning Report on Amendment number 15 to the Township of Minden Hills official plan be received by Haliburton County Council, and that Haliburton County Council approves Amendment number 15 to the Township of Minden Hills official plan that was adopted by the Council for the Township of Minden Hills on June 24th, 2021, under Bylaw number 2169.
All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Stone.
Thank you very much, Council.
Okay, next are the administration reports. First is the correspondence listing, which I believe was quite short. Any comments or questions there? Could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the correspondence summary? Councillor Moffat and Councillor DeVolen.
Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor DeVolen, be it resolved that the correspondence listing for the period of August 27th, 2021 to September 15th, 2021 be received for information by Haliburton County Council.
All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Next up is a rail trail status report. I think we'll bring in Mr. Sutton. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Warden. Good morning, Council. We have a status report for the rail trail. As you might note in the report, it's been a busy summer. There's a lot of things that have been going on, and there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes, and we've got a lot of work coming up this fall. I can let you know that our second contract for resurfacing is out on the street and actually closes tomorrow. So we're very hopeful for some good prices so that we can get as much work done as possible. And with that, if there's any questions, I'm willing to answer anything that you've got for me today.
Are there any questions? Well, hearing none, could I have a mover and a seconder to accept the status report? Councillor McKechnie, Councillor Burton.
By Councillor McKechnie, seconded by Councillor Burton, be it resolved that Haliburton County Council receives the September 22nd, 2021 Rail Trail Status Update Report.
All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Just as a note, this will confirm that there is a rail trail working group meeting on the morning of the 29th. Okay, next are the year-to-date actuals as of August the 31st. Was anyone going to speak to that, or are we just going to ask for questions? And
Our Director of Corporate Services is here. If there's any questions.
are there any questions on the year-to-date actuals? Good morning, Andrea.
Good morning, Warden and Council.
Well, hearing none, could I have a mover and a seconder then to adopt them? Councillor DeVolen, Councillor Moffat.
Moved by Councillor DeVolen, seconded by Councillor Moffat, be it resolved that Haliburton County Council receives for information the staff report on the year-to-date actuals as at August 31st, 2021. And further, that the year-to-date actuals as at August 31st, 2021 be hereby approved.
All in favor? That's carried. Thanks, Andrea. That was easy.
Yes, thank you.
Next up, reports and minutes from external boards and agencies. Anything that you wanted to point out on the from the health unit, Councillor Roberts?
No, not at this time. Those minutes are from June, other than I see a typo. They called me Mrs. Robertson, but I was not able to attend the meeting last Thursday. So, you know, we just know how hard the health unit continues to work. I think the mobile vaccine clinics where they're going to where events are and where people are is really been successful. I was talking to Kate Hall from the health unit yesterday, And she said it's been excellent. So they will continue to do that and go out into locations. So, yep. So nothing to report, but if there's anything ever that people want to ask me to take back to the board, I will.
Any comments for Councillor Roberts? Councillor DeVolen?
It may have been already under the consideration, but certainly as of today, any of those non-essential places to meet that you have to have a proof of vaccination. I'm thinking what's bringing to mind to me, obviously, is on the 2nd of October, the first home game of the season of the Huskies is here, is that at events like that it's required, whatever the nature of them are, that are non-essential public things in venues that are going to require proof of vaccination, to do those hopscotch around the county with those type of events would be a good place to do it. Obviously, we have enough real estate to accommodate, and I'm sure others do, community centers through the whole county, that we could do that. But that was just another thought, is because that's where people are going to be going and denied if they don't have it. So,
Councillor Rael?
Yeah, we're still waiting for the actual passport to come from the province. So in the interim period, other than the downloadable, if people have copies, one of each of their confirmation of their vaccinations, would that work as well as the downloadable summary?
Understanding that they do. Councillor Roberts?
Just having just been in Quebec twice, and that's all we had. It was easy and it was streamlined, and at a restaurant or checking into a auberge, it's like everybody's doing it and ready. And I just had a picture on my phone that showed that was the copy of my second dose. So, but I'm not sure, Councillor DeVolen, to what your meaning was, like, so if there's an event at an arena, would the health unit be there with the vaccine clinic? Is that what you were thinking?
well, I'm just thinking those are the type of venues that people are going to want to go to, that if they don't have it, they're unvaccinated. And there's people that don't listen to the media or anything else. Do I suspect in the first few events of this type, they're going to show up there and be denied? And it would be lovely to say, but if you'll immediately go to your right here, they can look after you. And so that once you have that, plus your 14 days, then you'll be able to come back and attend.
I can pass that on.
Yeah, I think it might be a bit of a challenge to do that unless there are big events, and then I could see that could work well. Any other comments? Okay, is there anything that you'd like to bring forward from Point in Time, Councillor Schell?
We actually don't meet until next week because of the way the dates fell this week this month, pardon me. But we did have a board training last night with Point in Time, and I was so happy to hear that most of the other members all felt like there was a huge learning curve for this board, because I have found sitting here for the last couple of years, when, it comes my turn to, share something from Point in Time, there really isn't a whole lot that's shareable to the public. And I feel like I'm not really being fruitful on the committee, but it seems like everybody kind of felt the same way. So that was good to hear. So anyway, we meet next Tuesday, and if there's anything, I will definitely bring it forward.
Well, that's good. We look forward to that. From the Warden's Caucus, we did have a meeting last Friday that was primarily about a single issue. As I think I mentioned before, the Warden's Caucus has been working on I think the best way to describe it is how to manage a database for housing to assist municipalities and developers in the approval and development process. There have been some difficulties with data management in the past, and so they've been working on that quite successfully, and plan to continue with that process to actually put it into being. Does that describe that well enough, Mike?
Yeah, I think that's great. I think the one thing I would add to that is that we are looking at a partnership with the Rural Ontario Institute to talk about, or to help us with it. And they really are a data expert. And so that partnership, we expect will be really, really helpful.
Thanks. Anything on joint social and housing services?
We meet at the first of the month, so this regularly gets reported at the committee of the whole, whatever. So we've not met since the last time we've been together.
Okay. Under professional recruitment, I think that we will be having a brief meeting shortly, just in turnover. I did want to, when I say turnover, it's the end of Cheryl Kennedy's contract with the county, and we need to hear from her on some of the details that need to be considered going forward, and talk about how she's going to be replaced. And you know, given that we are on this topic, I cannot say enough about the work that Cheryl Kennedy has done for us in the area of professional recruitment, in continuing to find us doctors and even more difficult homes for them to live in. We've still got lots of challenges ahead of us in finding doctors, but she's really done a fabulous job for us, and that's completely appreciated. Any other comment about professional recruitment? Okay, next is the library board. Any comments on the library board, other than the fact that there's a plan for a strategic planning day on Monday, which is something I think that the board members are all looking forward to plot out a plan for us to go forward over the next few years. Councillor Roberts.
Just to note, September 22nd, today's the first day that our new CEO is starting. So we have yet to meet him in person, but the hiring committee did, meet him a couple times by Zoom. So look forward to our new CEO starting, Chris Stevenson. And there is a nice little period of overlap. So Anna will be able to sort of work with him. We'll get to meet him in person at our strategic planning session. And I know the library board chair is going to be doing, some sort of helping introduce him to the community as well. And I think it would be beneficial at some point when he's got his feet on the ground to bring him to county council just to introduce and say hello.
Well, I'm sure he'll have an opportunity to do that during the budget process.
Yeah, I was thinking that's true. That's the time of year.
And mentioning that, the library board also has a special budgeting meeting. I think it is next Thursday afternoon. And I don't believe that we've got anything for the land division. So could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt or accept the reports and minutes from external boards and agencies? Moved by Councillor Shell, seconded by Councillor Royale.
Moved by Councillor Shell, seconded by Councillor Ryle. Be it resolved that Haliburton County Council receives for information the following: the June 17th, 2021 HKPR District Health Unit Board of Health minutes, the 2021 second quarter Board of Health report and COVID-19 activities report, the June 22nd, 2021 approved minutes from Point in Time Center for Children, Youth and Parents, and the September 8th, 2021 draft minutes from the Haliburton County Public Library Board.
All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Under other external boards and agencies, are there any updates from the Ontario Good Roads?
I don't have an update this morning, but we do have our board meeting next Thursday and Friday, so I'll have an update then.
Okay, sounds good. Anything from EORN, Councillor DeVolen?
Yes and no. We continue to deal with the change in programs, but the other part that I want to bring to your attention and to the public or anybody else that's with us this morning is, we've just got used to dealing with the change of the minister of infrastructure. And when there's a change in players, both in terms of the staff they have and how the policies, where they may want to push or tug policies and are just kind of, they tip their hand about where they may go. That's a little bit different than the predecessors. And on Monday night, the federal minister of infrastructure was not elected. So we're going to have to deal with obviously there'll be a period of time before the Prime Minister names who the new minister is and who their chief of staff is and bureaucracy. So we have a few months of kind of no man's land here to see, apart from the official programs, is where either of these new ministers would go. And the other part that can't be discounted is there's the chemistry between the players at the provincial and federal levels, and whether they're adversarial or collegial or whatever, is to see how that works out. So we have a few months, I would say, and probably close to the balance of the year, to get a better notion of how all of these things that are happening with connectivity may play out. Having said that, both EORN and our private ECS company is aggressively moving forward. We know what's not in the cards, and we're moving forward with plans and other initiatives that will benefit the region, that hopefully, in the next 6 months, we'll be able to talk some more about.
Well, we look forward to hearing that. And let's hope that the relationship between the province and the feds is collegial and works in our favor. Is there anything on poverty reduction?
We meet next week. And as you remember, I'll wait to refrain and comment and ask for questions till they report out to us. And I think it'll be the first meeting that they're going to report out to us and the members of council for the city of Porth alike. So that the official reporting will happen on both sides of the equation as we go forward.
Thanks. Look forward to that. The next item is Indigenous Affairs. I don't believe that there's anything, although we do have an item just not too further along in the agenda. So we'll look at the meeting calendar. Are there any errors or omissions on the meeting calendar for October? Hearing none, could I have a mover and a seconder to accept the calendar?
We don't actually typically do that, Warden Daniels. Sorry.
Sorry, got that marked off. All right, the next item then for discussion is AMO's recommended resolution about the First Nations Day for Truth and Reconciliation. We have an opportunity to adopt that resolution, and maybe our CIO could speak to the plans that are in place for September the 30th.
Sure. Thank you. We have been working, I think first and most importantly, we've been working with our local municipalities and your CAOs to develop something that is consistently applied across the county as much as possible. We will be proposing to fly the Every Child Matters flag for September 30th. Those have been sourced and I believe provided to everyone. We are asking that all staff review 2 videos that are uploaded to our learning management system. One is on the history of the Curve Lake First Nation, which is the First Nation that is closest to us, or most of us, and then another video on the history of the Williams Treaty. I think it's really important that we start to understand the context that we're working within, and these videos are really excellent, I think. So we'll be asking that all staff review those videos to the extent possible on September 30th, but there are some for operational reasons that won't be able to do that, but we will have them all sign off. Again, those videos have all been supplied to the local municipalities, and we have and the IT department has also created them in electronic format so that they can be shared with your staff as well. So that's what we have planned. We'll just do our best to acknowledge the day. There is not I know that we've been asked if we will be providing a day off for staff, and obviously council would make that decision, but it's not a requirement in our collective agreement. So we would be all working that day, but we will make sure that we carve off some time to do some learning around our history.
Well, it sounds like a good plan. I might also comment that that if those films are available, that members of council, actually all councils, also watch them. I think it's in all of our best interest to do that. Any comments or questions for our CAO about the county's plans for that day? Councillor Roberts?
So my question is actually not to the CAO, but through you to Councillor Moffat, because I believe you were doing some research into some land acknowledgement at your municipality, and I don't know if this is the time to, do you want to share, or are you still doing research?
Yeah, if I may, the communications coordinator is working on that, and he is in discussions with some folks from Curve Lake, and it's still in progress because the folks from Curve Lake are suddenly finding themselves quite busy. So absolutely, it makes sense to share it out when it's ready to be shared. So yeah, absolutely, we can make sure the CAOs. I don't know. I know that they're coming on for the service delivery review meeting at 1. I don't know if they're on right now, but we can, through our CAOs, work together and have something similar. We are doing something slightly different for Algonquin Highlands because we know we have some specific, or not different, but in addition to just the acknowledgement, we're going to do a little bit more. Council's asked for a bit of a plan in terms of website and some of our local history. We have some anecdotal on the ground history of First Nations interactions in Algonquin Highlands specifically. So the museum folks are going to work on some of that research as well. So we're making it a little bit more robust than just simply a land acknowledgement, and I'm happy to share that progress as well.
And I think that that's something that we continue to work on here. So we will be bringing that back to council. Any other, is it council's desire to pass the resolution that's being recommended by AMO? Councillor DeVolen and Councillor Moffat.
I'm comfortable doing that, yes.
Councillor Moffat.
Yeah, with the exception of the day off, because the day off doesn't, yeah, okay. Yes.
And Councillor Roberts.
Thank you, but so just to refresh my memory, can we have the resolution read first and then see if we want to support it? Just because I remember it came in an email, but as Councillor Moffat said, with the exception of, so perhaps could we read it and then we'll look for that?
That sounds perfect.
If I might just provide some clarity before I read, so to avoid any confusion, it does talk about creating a statutory holiday, but that does not mean that it is time provided off. It is just a statutory holiday. But it doesn't relate to providing staff the day off.
The problem with that to me is that I would think that the public would understand by the words statutory holiday that they have a day off. So we might need some clarity there.
Okay, we'll remove that section. I don't think it changes the content. So
Councillor DeVolen.
Yeah, a simple omission will help. I mean, we don't have the authority to create statutory holidays like the provincial or federal government, but yeah, if it's just an omission to leave it out, if that simplifies it, that would be, I think it would work. It might.
Yeah, the section actually talks about how the federal government has declared it a statutory holiday, which they have done. It's not us declaring it. It's just a recognition that the federal government has.
Okay. Any other comments? Let's hear what you've got there.
Whereas the Truth and Reconciliation Commission released its final report on June 2nd, 2015, which included 94 calls to action to redress the legacy of residential schools and advance the process of Canadian reconciliation. And whereas the recent discoveries of remains and unmarked graves across Canada have led to increased calls for all levels of government to address the recommendations in the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action. Calls to action. And whereas all Canadians and all orders of government have a role to play in reconciliation. And whereas recommendation number 80 of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission called upon the federal government in collaboration with Aboriginal peoples to establish as a statutory holiday a national day for truth and reconciliation to ensure that public commemoration of the history and legacy of residential schools remains a vital component of the reconciliation process. And whereas the federal government has announced that September 30th, 2021, as the first National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, National Orange Shirt Day, and a statutory holiday. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the County of Haliburton does hereby commit to recognizing September 30th as the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, National Orange Shirt Day, by sharing the stories of residential school survivors, their families, and communities. And so that's all.
Thoughts, comments, or questions? Councillor Roberts?
Yeah, I would support that. I just needed a refresher because it wasn't, the actual resolution wasn't included in our package. So I would move that.
Okay, could I have a seconder? Councillor DeVolen? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. So that concludes the open portion of our meeting. So we will now be moving into closed. If I could have a mover and a seconder to move into closed, please.
If I could, Madam Warden, if we could just add a labor relations or employee negotiations item to the agenda or to the resolution.
To the closed agenda.
Yes, please.
Sorry, I should have mentioned that. So could I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Shell, Councillor McKechnie.
Moved by Councillor Shell, seconded by Councillor McKechnie. Be it resolved that Haliburton County Council enter into closed session as per section 239 of the Municipal Act as amended for the following reasons: a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, and a labor relations or employee negotiations.
All in favor? That's carried. And we'll just be a few minutes switching over.
And we're back live, Warden Danielson.
Welcome back. So I don't believe that there are no bylaws. You have direction from coming out of closed. There's no notice of motions. And so then I'd be looking for a mover and a seconder for the confirming bylaw, please. Councillor Moffat and Councillor Rail.
Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Ryle. Be it resolved that bylaw 4066, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the September 22nd, 2021 meeting of Haliburton County Council, be considered to be read a first, second, third time, finally passed, and the seal of the corporation be affixed.
All in favor? That's carried. And just one more time, thanks very much, Councillor McKechnie, for your input and help during the last couple of months.
Thank you, Warden Danielson, and thank you to all the other committee members, and like I said, all the staff and Mike. They've made me feel very welcome, and it's great to see our counties in such good hands. And but I really am happy. I'd love to sit here, but I'm so darn happy that our friend is back. So, did you want me to sit in on this afternoon, or?
Yeah, is it all of council or just the heads of council?
No, it's all of council.
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you again.
Could I have a mover and a seconder to adjourn? Councillor Moffat. Councillor Rail.
Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Ryle. Be resolved that the September 22nd, 2021 meeting of Haliburton County Council be adjourned.
All in favor? That's carried. We'll see you all at 1 o'clock. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Take
I
care,
know.
everyone. Stay safe.